Okay, how to start and use your standard APR fryer. Start with the basics here. It's handy to have a grill lighter like so, and you want to be sure that both your propane and the gas control valve, which is down here and also difficult to see, are in the off position. This particular one, you can see the red dot there at about the 1 or 2 o'clock position, indicating the direction of the dial that it needs to turn. So as we move through this process, we're going to turn it counterclockwise to first the pilot position and then to the on position, somewhere in between. Ultimately, once we get up and running, you're going to operate in the on position, but the I in pilot is where you want to line it up to ignite it, but we'll get back to that. And then your thermostat is right here. But back to basics, everything is off. Make sure the gas valve is off, the tank is off, and now we'll connect. Unwrap the hose here and connect the propane tank, which that should be pretty straightforward. And then I like to stretch the hose out and make sure that it's not coiled, or that it's laying as flat as possible. With this, if I move the tank over here, get a nice little swivel here to help ensure that the hose doesn't kink. I'm going to turn the gas on, and we'll come back to the fryer. And now is when we come over to this dial and turn it so that the I in the word pilot lines up with that red dot. You have to depress the dial a little bit to get it to turn. And before I press it to begin the gas flow, I'm going to come up just above the middle here and bring your attention to this little T-shaped thing right there, and that's your pilot light and the thermocouple. And that's where you're going to hold your flame. You bring your lighter in here. You're going to hold your flame right there at that T-shaped device to light your pilot light. But first, come back down here and you have to push this button in. Now it's on the pilot setting, so we're just going to push in, and that begins the gas flow to the pilot. And we have to let the air purge out of, that long hose. So it takes 30-40 seconds, and if things are quiet, you can actually hear the gas coming out of the little tiny hole in the pilot. That's a good sign. That means you've done something right. And eventually, this is going to be tricky. I don't know that I'll be able to capture it on the video, and do it all at the same time. We have to take a pause here. Okay, so I just continuing to hold, push in, and put the lighter up to the T-shaped device, and the gas ignited. And again, continuing to hold. You're gonna have to hold for 20 seconds, sometimes longer, sometimes less. And when you can take your hand off the button and that pilot stays lit, you have achieved a good ignition. And from that point, now we come back down here and we turn this dial. You may have to push in on it a little bit to the on position. Once you're in the on position, you can then set your thermostat to your desired temperature. You'll hear the click, and voila, we have ignition. Turn the thermostat off, and it goes out. And from that point, you're also going to want to have your oil in there before you start those burners. But from that point, you are ready to cook and heat your oil up. Set 375, 425, whatever your desired oil temperature is. Most of our fryers have these instructions summarized on the door. Some of them not so much, because they've melted, or that flame compartment, there's a lot that goes on in there. Then this is your drain tube for when you're ready to drain the oil. You just screw it into that valve there, and then you can open that valve, and you're going to want to give your oil a good 45 minutes or so to cool before you try to drain it into something else. And one other thing I want to point out is that on these fryers, the back of this is open, and if you're out in an open area and it's breezy, you do well to have the back part of this fryer somewhere where it's protected from the wind or the breeze. Something, have it pushed up against something, so that, because that wind can come in there and snuff out your flames or your pilot, and then that creates challenges. But as long as you try to restrict the airflow through there from like a wind or a breeze, you'll be okay. And once you're all set and ready to turn it off, you don't have to worry so much about the on-off valve. Just cut off your propane, and the pilot light will burn off the rest of the gas in the line, and then you can disconnect. And that pretty much does it. And after it was only about 15 seconds or so, and you see that pilot light died down, and everything's good to go.